last night, and the rivals are bristling for more of the same today. And what a great jump by Feeney. This might deliver a slightly different outcome at the apex. The squeeze is on. Feeney on the outside, but Waters gets up alongside him now to just slightly push him out of position. Will Brown's moved up into third. Brody's tucked in behind them. Now Brock goes to the outside down at turn 2. So Waters is being swamped by the Bulls down there at turn 2 as James Courtney gets out and wide. But believe it or not, Waters has hung on again through those first couple of corners. Look at Brown on the outside, up and over the crest on the run to 4. He might even get to his teammate here. It'll put him on the correct side of the road when they get to the left-hander at 5, and he's hung on, Mark.
He certainly has. That's a great move by Will Brown. But how aggressive was Waters at the apex of turn 1? He was gone for all money, and he just fired the Monster Mustang down there, and he prevailed around that big, fast left-hander. Plenty going on further back in the field, Neil. It's on for young and old.
Waters, Brown, Feeney, Stecky, Golding, Payne, LeBrock, Mostert, Davison, Reynolds now 10. Thomas Randall's moved up a spot, and just as I mentioned his name, he drops it into the dirt. And a little touch-up with Ryan Wood into turn 8. Check out the background, weather looms. Century Battery's chopper shot at the eastern end of the racetrack. And that was a remarkable fight back and a real arm wrestle from Cam Waters to take command down there at the apex at turn 1. I thought he was shot. I thought, and probably Brock did too, that he might have been able to wind down from that outside line and actually take the preferred approach into turn 2. But it just goes to show the extra meterage on the outside, and where there's also less grip is a challenge.
Yep, it certainly is.
Let's have a look at the replay. This was a great start by Brock. He got the jump nicely, got away, grabbed second gear, and at this stage, it's all giddy up. He's trying to squeeze Cam down, but right here, he's just ended up in the slightly greyer section of road, extra meterage on the outside, and then Waters has got the inside running. How's this for a view? Across the top of the roof line from the Mustang. Second, third, fourth. And then it's dance, dance, dance on the throttle, slide, a little bit of contact, a bit more slide, a bit of contact, modulate that throttle and then get back into it. But the beauty of that image for Cam and Ford fans, he's on the inside down there, so the 1.5 tons on the inside wins the argument.
Yes, and as you saw in the background there, Kostecki gave Golding a bit of a hip and shoulder in the middle. Now, I reckon at this point here, if you have a look, as he moves it over, he just needed to keep on escorting him over that yellow line and try to get him into the curb and the grass. That was the only way that he was going to get around there and be able to prevail at turn 2.
I tell you what, the audio's telling there, listening to the start from Brock, that was a gorgeous conversion. It was next to no wheel spin. His 0 to 100k reference would be pretty impressive off the line. And James Courtney, unfortunately, which I noted, got shoved wide down there at turn 2. I think what happened in the middle, just listening in the background, there was a bit of a check-out moment on the throttle for Brock. He would have been catching the slide, and it's always going to be a tiny bit grubbier out there. And Cam's on the slide as well. Remember that the minimum tyre pressures for these Dunlop tyres going into 2025 has been reduced to 16 psi. And so they start lower at the commencement of the race, and then they're going to come up through these next couple of laps to get to their normal pressure and temperature. So when you go into turn 1, at the best part of a couple of 100 kilometres an hour on a cold tyre that's underinflated, you're going to be doing plenty of wheel work down there. Well, there you go. There's a radar sweep that's evident inside one of the team garages. And so you can get away with a bit of the green stuff, but when you see the yellow and the red, then that's pretty ominous. Let's keep you updated as to what's going on there, and our pit reporters will be all over it. You can see that curtain of showers off to the west there. That's looking out towards Penrith and further beyond into the foot of the Blue Mountains. Beautiful part of New South Wales. Now Chaz Mostert, they're pulling him off the racetrack and bringing him in for one of the first significant runners out of the top 10 to take his stop, and so's Deep Pasquale. Tony Woodward Engineering, Heimgartner in the background. I saw smoke outside the commentary box, and I reckon I know why. So that smoke signal is actually spelling stop for Mostert.
Well, it also spells those 4 tyres never to be used again. They'll have big flat spots on them.
Just a little bobble on that right rear. And so this will be to potentially get some undercut benefit. It was LeBrock that he was chasing prior to peeling off for the stop. He's come out of 8th position Jack staying in 7th, and Will Davison's now moved up that spot into 8th.
Now that fuel churn, about 25 litres in there. Probably need to put about 20 in, but they won't get all that in this stop because this stop will be about 6 or 7 seconds. Look at the churn. So there's the bit they're going to put in at the next stop. So it's really tight, a lot of pressure. Now think about it. Fuel weighs about 0.7 of a kilo per litre, 25 litres of fuel plus the equipment. Go into Bunnings and grab a 20-kilo cement bag, put it up there on your shoulder, see how you go.
Yeah, well, you'll get fit, but it'll also be a bit of a battle. So that was a perfect example of pulling up on the marks there with Brock Feeney. Now, he's dropped in just in front of Chaz Mostert. So Chaz has made genuine gains as a result of the undercut, but to do it, you burn a little bit of capital along the way because you had to use the tyre earlier. So Feeney's got the advantage of the younger tyre, but Mostert and his group have bought some track position, and that was important when you've qualified poorly.
Yep. Now,
race leader
Waters will be doing that to cover any of the potential undercut.
Now remember, he had a margin of 3.6 seconds when he came in over Brown.
Brown's coming in too.
We're riding with Brock, turn 8.
When you've come in off the track there and you've got to go back to 40k with a pit limiter, feels like an absolute eternity. Especially when you know that your competitor is coming onto the main straight, so you're wanting this to all happen and get back out there.
I tell you, you want to make sure that hose is clear of the rear wing end plate. You're going to plug the gantry down pretty fast. Boom. I've seen it happen once or twice. Out goes Waters. So he's done his first compulsory stop. There's still the best part of about 10 cars to take their first stop. Kostecki is now our new leader. And gets back out in the game, but it's going to take a little while. They're betting on youth at Penrite Racing in 2025. They've got a couple of real fast young chargers, and we're certainly going to see some fireworks from them before the year's done, no question. Now he's dropped in just in front of this raging battle between the teammates Heimgartner and Evans. So Brodie's got 5.7 seconds at the moment over LeBrock, who's running a bit longer as Wood gets down the inside of Reynolds. Never quite done between 4 and 5 until you've actually stood on the throat of your opponent there, because if you leave any margin down the inside into 5, they can get in there, just like that. It sort of ruined the party.
As you were telling the story, that's exactly what was unfolding.
Jackson also tries to capitalise here down the inside. Looks like a carbon copy of some of the action that we saw at the back end of last night's race up the front of the field. Now, Kostecki and Randall have come in from 2nd and 4th positions. A lot of racing to come, 25 laps. The weather's ranging in from the west at the moment, and so far, unchallenged, Cam Waters, 5.5 second lead. And was that a moment for Jack LeBrock? It looked like it, didn't it? So that off the road. Awkward, so he's lost a little bit of ground there, and it's cost him. Dick Scriley also down there. LeBrock's in the tyre power entry. So let's have a look and see just what happened here. So he bombs it down the inside. Popular passing spot down there, and it was a lively location on the racetrack. Ah, there was an interlock. That was the reason. I thought, why is he on the grass at 5? Well, that'll do it.
That will do it.
Now, Kostecki is all over the back of Mostert. He's going to try and get him here in the short shoot, and Chaz tries to close down on him, but Brodie was there and solidly able to squeeze by down the inside. So the tyres, Car 25, have seen their best, and they're done. So he's going to bring it in now. The last time he arrived down here, he had all 4 burning. And that was
smoke
a little bit tighter. Yeah, no smoke signals in front of the commentary box that time. So that cost him a little bit of time, that battle, actually having the contact in the end there with Brodie. And he's the first to raise the white flag of the leading cars. Now, he was 4th until just a moment ago when Brodie got by.
And here we go. Here's our leader, Cam Waters.
Yeah, got your big rooster.
So there's a 6-lap advantage, younger tyres on the Middies car as our race leader comes in with Brock Feeney behind him. So those younger tyres are helping the Middies entry. Critical stop here. He's got margin in hand, no need to rush for Waters.
They've gone with the policy of the head of fuel. The can see that's full. That churn is full.
Okay, go, mate. You're clear. See you later.
Matty Roberts. See you later.
See you later.
Go win it. Quote of the day.
Bit of sports psychology for Matty Roberts.
Air spike operator looking up at the lights on the pit boom as James Golding and Macaulay Jones come in for their second compulsory stop. Brody Kostecki's now our leader, who had squeezed by Chaz Mostert, who's come in and grabbed a new set of boots. So that kind of equalises Mostert as also in this battle as people are now peeling off and getting their tyres on as well. There's only a 1 or 2 lap offset between the top group of cars.
Trying to gather up whether
what's gone on there. It's gone out there with part of the fuel kit on it, has it? Yes,
yeah.
It has. I thought that's what I could see. So Cam Hill. Now the problem is, it's actually got those fingers latch, so you'll get a penalty for that as well. So there's a bit of risk in all that that's got to be managed clearly. Matt Stone there. So I thought I saw it, and I wanted to wait till we could get the closer shot. So they've dropped the car, and he hasn't been able to release it because, and Mark Larkham's done some stories on this, there are 2 little fingers either side on that Cromtech dry brake coupling, and unless you release the fingers, it attaches to the receiver side of the fueling system. Fortunately, they've propped him and stopped him before he got out onto the racetrack with that. And actually nice bit of help there from Red Bull to jump in. So somebody from the Red Bull Ampol Racing team have gone out there and helped the cause. So nice presence of mind with safety in mind for all.
Oh, fire for Cooper Murray. And it looked like the fire went out as in when he got it started again and was able to get the car moving. Not really sure what happened there at all until we gathered this up.
So spots of rain on the lens of the camera down there at the right-hander at turn 8. Oh, and that was wild between Hill and Love. And tucked in behind is Crick. Now these guys are battling vigorously for 23, 4 and 5 in the field. And you can see out the commentary box window there's more rain here, and up the inside goes Hill. Rear bumper and the diffusers hanging off the back of Aaron Love's car. They've had a bit of damage with that car this weekend. They'll have to bring him in, otherwise it's going to part company awkwardly. And there's bits flailing all the way down the front straight here at the moment. You can hear it go by the commentary box, scraping on the road. And we're getting reports that that sprinkle is definitely getting worse. But again, the grip level of this place is so low that if you just add a little bit of water to it, it is like an ice skating rink. I tell you, if you happen to be out there and you haven't taken your second stop, and that was the replay of why Cooper was, now that's had a pretty dramatic impact on Feeney's race. That's allowed Chaz Mostert to be able to squeeze by. Whoa, okay, now I understand more of it. So you commented at the back end of that, and then that's a ferocious look under that car, and it's just a bit of excess fuel that's burnt. We're riding here with Brock. Let's just understand a bit more about this. So he's tried to go up the inside. He's been squeezed. Right, and then Cooper's gone back down the inside. This is all serious threat here for Feeney, who now has been nipped by Mostert in the process. Now, contact between Feeney and Murray, my goodness. So that all came out of nowhere. My eyebrows have flown up looking at all that, and I'm sure that Feeney's have as well. And Murray's now come into the pit.
And that there now, you can see when you've got the wiper on like this and you're pressing on hard, that's Feeney in behind Mostert. And we revel in these conditions when we see the very best operators of these cars when the track is like it is. Mostert is a benchmark. Waters is also. We know that Brown and Feeney are very good in these conditions. Kostecki, Matt Payne. I keep on running through the field. There's about 10 or 12 that are absolutely exquisite when it gets slippery. That's properly reining into turn 4.
Oh, and Chaz just sidesteps there. So when he turned it in, it broke away in the rear. And it looks as though at the moment that Brock's car's a little bit better suited to these conditions because he's ranged right up to the back of him. A shallow exit there for Chaz. Meantime, Brock goes the long way round, takes the tour on the exit at turn 5.
And there are some alternate lines that absolutely work at this place when it's wet. You can run the outside line, you can do the Michael Schumacher, and you can see Chaz there. He turned it into Corporate Hill, it escaped on him, he gathered it back up, but he was about 2 car widths wide. Look at the outside line there for Finney. There are absolutely outside lines where the track grip is better because the bitumen hasn't been used out there. The worn bitumen on the racing line is slipperier than the outside. Oh. Off the road goes Chaz. Down the inside, almost. That was close for Feeney.
Well, cast your mind back a few minutes ago, and Chaz got an advantage from some contact up there. There was nearly contact again. It's on here, and this is for a podium. It's worth a fight. Now, Kostecki's moved up on Payne on our timing monitor. So Chaz Mostert's hanging on here at the moment. They've all got the skate on, so the pressure is on and the grip is diminishing. And that's an awkward equation in one of these cars. The margin between Waters and Brown remains at 11 seconds. He's got a ton of cushion at the moment. Brown's pretty safely in second spot, but this is anything but safe for the miners. Mostert had a podium on Friday. He missed out last night, came home in 4th. There's the respective garages at the Red Bull Ampol Racing team and the Mobile Optus team.
Go. They're already using that outside run on their way in there. Feeney was a little bit further towards the original apex. Off the corner they go and way outside the track limits for Mostert. He was 3 car lengths wide, let alone car widths.
And he was battling to pull it up then at turn 6. Continues to get slipperier and slipperier. So is anybody going to be fumbled into overextending here and asking too much of themselves, the car or the available tyre grip? Meantime, Kostecki's getting closer and closer and closer to this battle. And he is searching high and wide for alternate lines at the moment.
Do it awesome, mate. You do it awesome. You go Brody behind him. Use him if you need.
Waters, Brown, Mostert, Feeney, Kostecki, top 5 runners. The A-graders are all at the north end of the field here. Still a huge margin in favour of Cam. It's 11.9 seconds. He's held his advantage in the slippery conditions. Will Brown's got 6 seconds in hand over the battle for the minors, but Mostert, Feeney, Kostecki far from resolved at the moment.
Cam Waters has just been able to be a little bit conservative. Have a look at the slide there through turn 1. Have a look at the slide, the car control, the big slide in the middle of the corner there for Mostert. Cam Waters was 24th or 23rd fastest on the previous lap and 22nd just then. He's run right off the road.
Well, both of them ended up having to run all the way around the outside of turn 2. All of them are going full-blown non-standard in search of some grip out there. But I think at turn 2 they were just out of braking range. They were just literally running high and wide down there.
Have a look, lap 48, 42 dead, 42.7, 42.1, 42.3 for those lead runners. So Waters, who we know is very good in these conditions, but he's just got enough of a lead just to be a little bit more calm about it.
Now, there's actually a margin opened up just in this last half lap between Chaz and Brock. So that was a bit costly. A couple of those excursions. And it's taken the pressure off Chaz. He'll be relieved at that prospect. There's no longer a dry groove out there. That chopper shot was pretty telling. It's starting to get to a point where the entire track width is proper wet. If it gets to the next level, it gets that sheen on it. Yep, they'll get home from here, but it'll be hard work. See the shine beginning to appear. Now, luckily, there's still enough warmth in the track and the tyre to be able to get away with it, but it's very easy to overstep the mark.
And the thing from a driver's perspective is that when you first see the rain, the surface goes dark. So that's what Garth was talking about in pit lane, that you can see all the drops on the road and the surface goes dark. The next thing that you're talking about is when you get enough volume of water, the surface goes shiny. And that's what they're dealing with right now. That surface is extremely shiny, and I'm sure when Brock Fernie just turned the wheel there at that big fast left. Have a look at the wheel spin. That's 5th gear wheel spin.
Tremendous skill to command a vehicle in those conditions. Brodie ends up out on the concrete, trying to get the thing turned. He's searching for alternative lines everywhere. He'll try and come out shallow out of 3 here. Bucketing over the top of the crest of the hill between 3 and 4. It's getting to the point now where you're seeing a water plume. Once you see that, you'd be better off on a wet, but you're not going to come in with 3 laps to go. You're going to have to soldier on out there. Not a lot of fun in a supercar on a slick tyre in a track that's beginning to get a shine on it.
Guess who was fastest on the last lap? Richie Stanaway. He was the fastest. He loves the wet condition. There was a big moment there for Brodie Kostecki. He couldn't get it stopped, and then when he was trying to get back into the field of play, he had a big slide going. He's run right up into the back of Brock Fernie, able to stay off the back of it. I thought he was going to slide it under brakes into the back of the Red Bull Ampol Camaro, but he got away with it too.
Hope you're enjoying our 3rd race in the Repco Supercars Championship, our opening round for 2025. You're seeing some driver skill here that's off the scale. This is not an easy task, and the best of the best are giving us a lesson in how to control a car in unbelievably challenging circumstances. We're riding with Brodie Kostecki. He's 4th, threatening to be 3rd. Brock's got the slide on in 2nd gear. The track's getting wetter with every passing second at the moment. We've only got 2 to go.
These drivers are on slick tyres. They have not come in for wet tyres. Not a person has got a wet tyre on. So they've got the slick, non-groove tyre in these conditions. They're 14 or 15 seconds a lap slower than what they were doing before. This is the ultimate of car control, ultimate of skill, to be able to keep these things on the island, because it is seriously raining out there now. And as Neil said, if you put a wet tyre on, you'd be 8, 10, 15 seconds a lap faster. But the problem is you haven't got time, and they've got to get to the end, 2 laps remaining.
Very clever car placement going on here between both Brock and Brodie. Supreme performances as they all search for grip in places where you would not think it would be. He gets right onto the back of his Queensland rival here now. He's all over the rear bumper and tries to get traction. He's going to go and try to get around the outside, but can he get it turned? Yes is the answer.
Concrete.
Unbelievable job. He found some grip out there and closed the sail.
Concrete.
Nice job. Yep. Concrete did the job. The expert rasp on the tyre, and that was impressive. Have a go at the conditions. It's rotten out there at the moment. It is bucketing down. They'd much prefer to be on a Dunlop wet tyre. That is not going to happen. Very shortly, it's going to be 1 to go. This got Mostert off the hook, this little battle. He's in 3rd. Here's our race leader. What a weekend for him. 3.9 kilometres and 11 turns to go. Treacherous conditions at Sydney Motorsport Park. What an unbelievable weekend for Cameron Waters. He has been supreme through practice, through qualifying, through top 10 shootouts. Unbelievable job.
And to win 3 races in a row, an extraordinary start to a year for Cam Waters when he had a very ordinary start to the year last year.
All right, so let's see how this unpacks with 1 to go here, and it is still on. Until they get to that checkered flag, we've learned it a couple of times already this weekend. You can't get too keen too soon. Waters, Brown, Mostert, Kostecki and Feeney. The battle rages out there on this racetrack. What a weekend for this guy. He has been doing so much motor racing over the summer period, commanding a sprint car, understanding what it's like to slip and slide and command a high horsepower device sideways. He's dancing this thing off his fingertips, negotiating turn 8 for the final time. He still holds a chunky lead. It was out to 11 odd seconds. It's now 8.3. He's going to forward just to take it nice and gentle, not take himself into the risk zone. And that shine that I spoke about a couple of laps ago has well and truly arrived on this racetrack. All he's got to do now is get through this final corner, and then he can relax. The track has gone to a full wet condition. lines it up, points it towards the checkered flag. And this has been an epic weekend for Cameron Waters, who makes it 3 from 3, Sydney Motorsport Park.
Thank you so much. Bring on 2025.
Gets home by 6.2 seconds over Will Brown. Chaz Mostert back on the podium for the second time this weekend. And Brodie Kostecki home in front of Brock Feeney.
The Sydney Motorsport Park venue has been for Tickford and Cam Waters. Remarkable performance, absolutely dominant in all the conditions that Neil just rolled us through. Didn't matter whether it was hot, whether it was nighttime, or whether it was hosing with rain, he was able to prevail. Beautiful job. And he's driving as well as we've ever seen him drive. And does he shape up as a genuine contender in 2025? 100%.